All right, so going into resources now, this session will be a little bit shorter. Let's start here. If you have questions over any of these resources, your first step of action is to reach out to your individual team coach. Okay. If your team coach does not know the answer, that is totally fine. They will reach out into our coaching groups, to their evaluator or to us, and make sure that they know the answer to get that back to you. Okay. But with a lot of resources and a lot of potential questions, we just want to make sure that everything is going through the right channel, so we're not blowing up in those ways. All right. So we're going to start with extra innings. Okay. And when we go through these, there's going to be a lot of resources that you guys have access to. Some of these things you might already know. A lot of this information has been sent out previously, but as we get into the winter, when you're going to start using this stuff more, we just want to make sure everybody's on the same page and recognizing and understanding really what these resources look like. Okay. So our indoor facility partners, Extra Innings Indy South, it's where myself and Coach Buffy are right now. We have 8 large tunnels. We have 7 smaller hitting tunnels. We have the weight room, the speed and agility area, the Hall of Fame room, pro shop, all of those things. Okay. Couple things with Extra Innings that we want to go through. First and foremost, our benefits. Okay. You as a BAMFAM player are an Extra Innings member. So if you come in and they say, do you have a membership? You can let them know yes. They'll be able to look that up. It's all in the system. But you can just tell them, hey, I'm on a BAM team or I'm on a FAM team. Okay. By being on a BAM and FAM team, what that gets you at Extra Innings is you get 20% off of any lessons, camps, clinics, rentals, or training. Okay. So if you want to rent a tunnel for an hour, you want to come in for a clinic that we're running, you want to come to block 2 of lessons, all of those things, those opportunities are there. You get unlimited free walk-in use for the entire year. Okay. So that will end at tryouts of next season, which will be the last week of July. Okay. So from tryout to tryout, you have unlimited free walk-ins. Okay. Understand that walk-ins means that you show up and you ask, hey, is there anything open? The answer is yes. And you get to go to a tunnel. The only time that you are kicked out of a tunnel is if it's the last tunnel and somebody comes in to rent it out. That's it. Okay. What we recommend is calling ahead, not to reserve it, but just to check on space. Okay. As we get into team practices, positionals, all of these things, there might be a couple nights a week that it's really hard to find something in here if you come in at the wrong time. Okay. But there are typically at least 1 or 2 tunnels open that members can come in and utilize. Okay. So call ahead in advance if you want to do that. If let's say your whole team decides you got 6 players from your team, we're going to walk in and hit, that's fine. You're all members. That's not an issue at all. Okay. If you're coming in to hit and there is somebody, that you just had to sleep over at your house with, a buddy, and you want to bring them in and they are not a member, they will have to pay $10, but your membership still is good. Okay. So there's ways that you can utilize that membership at Extra Innings throughout the off season and really throughout the entire calendar year. Okay. In the pro shop, you get 10% off of all non-BAMFAM specific pro shop items and orders. That includes Wilson, DeMarini, Evo Shield, Louisville Slugger, anything in our pro shop. So the ghost bats that are sitting in there right now, any gloves, all of those pieces. Okay. You have an opportunity to come in and get that discount. If you order on the online store, which we'll get to in a minute, Wilson has changed their vendor stuff over the last month and a half. And basically it was 20%. It's down to somewhere between 10 and 15. Okay. But the price that you get on the online store is essentially the same price that you'll get for ordering those items in-house here at Extra Innings. Okay. Anything at Extra Innings that has a BAM and FAM logo on it in the pro shop, the hats, the visors, the beanies, the shirts, pants, all of that, that is all pre-applied discounts. Okay. So BAMFAM players do not get discounts on BAMFAM items because they are priced specifically for BAMFAM players. All right. But you also get use of Extra Innings training constraints, which are ladders, PVC, Zoids, med balls, Velo Pros, Camwood bats, all of that. All you need to do is ask up front, and they can help you get those training tools that you would potentially want to utilize. Cost and expectations. Okay. So your member pricing, let's say, you don't want to count on a walk-in, it's going to be busy. You want to reserve a tunnel. Okay. If you want to rent a long tunnel, it's $32. A short tunnel is $24. Okay. That's that 20% discount that you in. Walk-in versus rental, we talked about it. Okay, calling ahead and reserving means it's a rental. Walking in with a player means that it's free because that's a walk-in. Okay. Here's one ask that we have. Yeah. One big ask that we have. Over the course of the winter, there will be times where we have 150 people in here, 200 people in here. You got all the parents, you got all the players, you got all these things going on. It's awesome. We love it. Okay. But at the end of those nights, our workers should not have to walk around and pick up your food trash and push in your chairs and clean up after our players. Okay. And that's our players. And quite honestly, it's our parents and our coaches. Okay. All of us need to do a really good job of making sure that we take care of this place. Okay. So if you eat in here, that's great. Throw your stuff away. Okay. You sit in one of the chairs by the windows. That's awesome. You get up and you're done. Push your chair in. You use the Hall of Fame room between sessions to get some homework done. That's awesome. Leave it better than you found it. Push in the chairs. Make sure that it's neat and organized. Okay. We want that same mentality when we play games over the summer in every dugout that we enter. I don't care if it's a hot mess when you show up. You throw away the trash that's in it. You leave, not leaving saying, well, that was there when we got here. No, throw it away. Pick it up. Okay. Always leave it better than you found it. That's something that we can completely control, and that shows a level of respect for facilities, indoor and outdoor, that we will play on. Okay. That's something that you should do at home. That's something that you should do anywhere that you get an opportunity to go and play. Okay. Moving into Always Grind. So excited for these. Okay. We have adjusted our Always Grind books for this season. Okay. Always Grind is our personal tracking partner, meaning this is the book that you're going to have the opportunity to do all of your player reflection in. They're about 2 weeks from getting here. As soon as we get them, we will have them to be distributed at positional training for our players. Benefits in general of Always Grind are this. Their motto is words fly, written remains. And there is scientific and psychological evidence that you putting pen to paper and physically writing attaches itself to your brain differently than you typing or putting something into your phone. So the reason that we go this route rather than an app or something that, you know, a lot of people would probably want in 2022 is because the benefits of you taking the time to physically write it out are going to play better long-term for you than doing it in a different format. Okay. So what it's going to look like is every player is going to receive a book that looks a little different. Okay. Our players from 10U and under are going to receive a book. 11U, you're going to have an option of which book you think is best for you. Coaches are going to have some say in that. And then 12 and up will receive another book. Okay. All players will get one book for the season, but we will also have extras that you can purchase at Extra Innings. If you get through your book and you want to get another one, that's probably going to happen for a lot of you that do the lessons and instruction here as well. Because I can tell you that as soon as they come in, we'll start using them for infield training every single week. Okay. This can be freely used by the player. This does not have to be a session that you do specifically with us. You go in and hit on your own, you can use that. Okay. One big thing that helps Always Grind, not that you have to do it, but if you ever take pictures of you using the book, tag them on their Instagram or Twitter. Okay. They would love to see that usage. We're one of their bigger partners in the travel ball world. They do a great job. Okay. So if you are 11 and up, this is what the front of your book is going to look like. Rather than in the past, we've had a game book where, well, the book was split half for training sessions, half for game, and it was really just for hitting sessions. We've generalized the book so that you can use it based on whatever training it is that you're going into. Okay, so on the training section, one simple focus, you just got to circle the session that you're doing. Is it a game? Did you have an infield workout, outfield workout, hitting, pitching, or catching workout? Okay, whatever that is. You want to add speed and agility workout or weight session, you can do that too. Okay, it doesn't change. For your focus, this is to be done before the session. So you're going to write down, hey, what were the 1 to 2 things that you're trying to focus on today? Okay, on the front end, what are you trying to accomplish? And what this does is this gives you an intent when you walk into the tunnels to get that work in. Okay, and how do you plan on staying engaged? Okay, sometimes it's really easy to go in with the focus and then one thing happens and we're gone. We're not engaged anymore. Okay, so how do you plan on staying engaged? Drills. You do not need to go straight in order of the drills that you had to do in that session led by your coach. You don't have to write everything. Okay, this is not for you to write out what the practice was. It's for you to find benefit in the future for yourself. So under drills, you can write 2, you can write 1, you can write 6. Okay, but write the drills that you thought played a role in making you better, that you want to be able to replicate or do in the future. Okay, maybe that's with mom or dad in the front yard, with a sibling. Maybe it's next time you come to extra innings. Okay, so any of those drills with a cue or something to just remember what it is for the next time that you want to go back and do that drill. Okay, and then after the fact, okay, now we get to reflect a little bit. What are your goals for the next training? Okay, based on how you did at this training or in this game, what are your goals for the next training or game? Okay, and what mindset cues will help you accomplish the things that you want? And sometimes that can go either way. So one way that we look at that is, we call them power phrases. Power phrases are words or phrases that help you lock into something that you're trying to accomplish. Okay, it can be anything from, meaningful quotes to literally single words that mean nothing to anybody but yourself. Maybe your word's goldfish because you got to move on quicker. And that's what you write here. It's just goldfish. I got to move on. I got to have the memory of a goldfish. Okay, I got to get past that. Maybe it's spatula. I don't know. I don't know what that would mean, but if it means something to you, that's all that matters. Okay. Maybe it's be the show. Stop being afraid of the big moment. I am the big moment, right? I have a college basketball player right now. His power phrase every day is I am him. Cool. Whatever it is for you that's going to help you get to where you want to be. Okay. And sometimes that's a word or phrase to keep you in a positive mindset. Other times it's recognition of a negative word or phrase that keeps coming to your mind that you're not even trying to have it there. Okay. So that way you recognize it so that we can overcome that in the future. All right. So that's what yours is going to look like. Players 10 and under. And this is where 11U coaches and players, you can also go this route if you think that this would be more beneficial for your player. No preference on our end. Okay. Training and development are essentially the same thing. So you, just like the last one, you have every opportunity to circle what session you're doing. Same thing on focus. You're going to write the areas that you're focused on. Same thing on drills. You're going to write what helped. But then when we get into our reflection portion, we're going to make it really simple for you guys to be able to track and comprehend what's going on. So for our 8U players and our 9U players and our 10U players, this is an adjustment that we made this year so that you use your books a little bit more and in a way that's beneficial for you. Okay. So how did you do overall? Okay. Not how does your mom think you did? Not how did your coach say you did? How do you think you did overall? Okay. Was it a 10, your greatest game of all time? Was it a 5, you're right in the middle? Was it a 1, you did awful? Okay. How was your attitude? Write that. How was your focus? Okay. Those are 3 areas that you get to control. Okay. How you did might be out of your control a little bit. You hit the ball hard, you got out. That's fine. You still did well. Okay. But attitude and focus are areas that you have 100% control over. So you get to rate yourself on how you're doing. Okay. Looking back at your sessions over time is going to give you a real feel of which direction those numbers are going. And our goal for every single player is just consistent improvement, right? You might have a day where your attitude's poor. You don't have it that day, right? But we want to see consistent improvement over time. And then the back side, and this is for both of the books, your back page will look like this for each session. What did you do well? What do you need to improve? And what notes do you have? So under what you did well, okay, this can be full sentences. This can be bullet points. This can be pictures. Okay. However you want to do this is totally fine. Remember, this is your book. You're not turning it into a coach. Okay. This is for you to invest in to get better. Okay. What do you need to improve? Same thing, pictures, bullet point sentences. And then your notes, you have a lot of ways that you can personalize these. Anything that you felt had you extra locked in that day. Any distractions that you want to avoid the next session. Sometimes your best friends are the biggest distractions in a group setting. So maybe your distraction is, I can't have that same partner. Love the kid, but we're not good together in that setting. Okay. Any cues, tools, or feels. Okay. So cues would be mental cues, right? Drive the hip, whatever that might be. Tools would be, using a camwood bat, or maybe using a flat glove. Our Valley Training KK's in there. Okay. Or feels would be, how you're going to rotate, what that is, when your heel's going to land with your glove presentation. Okay. Things that benefited you or that caused you anxiety and discomfort so that you make sure not to do those in the future. And then just big takeaways. Okay, what's the biggest thing? If you had one big takeaway from your game or your training session, what was it? And if that always says, I had fun, then you're winning. That's awesome. All right. Coaches and players, we're only showing this because I want you to know what the coaches are going to be doing too. Okay, this increases our accountability as coaches when you know what we have access to. All right, so coaches, you're going to get a coach's pocketbook. This is going to fit right in your shorts pocket or your jacket pocket when you're coaching. Okay, and this is going to be the front and back for each game that you have. You have a squad goals checklist. You can just check them off as your team wins these things or loses these things. So you get to know how many offensive and defensive squad goals you guys were able to actually accomplish. Okay, the line score at the bottom gives us valuable information because some of the things that we as coaches discuss is not only scoring first, but hey, do we shut them down after we score? Or do we score two and suddenly we give up two? Right? It's important to put up a 0 there. Do we score after they do? Or do they shut us down? Do we punch back? They put up 3. Do we at least get 1 back and show that this is going to be a fight? Or do we put up a 0 there? Okay, so it gives us over time the different metrics that we need from a line score. And then we get to take notes over each discipline of the game: hitting, fielding, base running, pitching. Okay, this is important because we're trying to help everybody. Okay, there are a lot of times that I'm coaching a game and I see something, I'm like, I got to talk about that with this kid later. And then I forget, right? So this is going to help us keep those notes throughout the game. But the ultimate goal of this book is that when you get to your post-game discussion, you're not stuck there for 45 minutes while coaches ramble about the previous 3 games in the last weekend. I've been there. We all have. Okay, this is designed to help keep everything clear and concise of how you did, what you did well, where you struggled, and where you need to improve, right? So the goal is that coaches have a focused outline of how to approach these conversations, and you as players know what to expect in your post game with reference to each of these squad goals as well as each of these disciplines, and that coaches can model to you what it looks like to be consistent in tracking. Okay, so as coaches, our expectation is that you use your Always Grind books. And we want to help you to do so by modeling what it looks like to use those once we get into season with our coaching pocketbooks. Okay, so those are the changes that have been made to Always Grind. Like I said, I'm really excited about them for the different age groups, and we will let you know as soon as those come in. Okay, then we get into Dugout Coalition. So some of you know this, but not everybody. So the benefits of DC for us is it's an outline coaches certification process. This covers in-game coaching, practice planning, leadership development, mindset training, baseball and softball IQ training, implementation of that training, and then a lot of PDFs and printable data tracking sheets and resources for in-game. Okay, our player portal is specific for exactly that, our players. You guys will gain access to the drill library of videos and breakdown of the purpose of those videos that has over 500 drills in it right now. Each one will have an outline of the drill usage. Some of them have progressive timelines for each individual section that you can go through if you want to invest your time into infield, outfield, whatever that discipline might be. You get access to personnel to answer player questions about your development. Okay, that includes a few people on the BAMFAM side, but also our partners out in New York with Hot Corner Athletics, and player IQ testing, which you will have at the end of our winter training before you are cleared to play in games. Okay, use of this DC cert helps keep our language consistent. Okay, what I mean by that is I can go to a 12U practice right after my 16U practice, and the players are going to be speaking the same language. So when we talk about hitting approach, the verbiage and the words that we say are going to be the same across the whole program. Okay, what that means is as a player, you need to be willing to be coached by every coach in the program and not just coached by your individual coach. Okay, everybody is here to help your development. So what does that look like? Your drill portal, you're going to get an email this week that gives all the details on how to gain access to that online drill portal. Okay, that drill portal will take you to a website. It will be our Dugout Coalition website, and that website will log you into your player portal. Coaches, you should have access at this point to the coaches training if you are a new coach or first-year coach in the program. And I'm really excited for us to unveil the mini certifications for second-year coaches to get farther in depth into specific disciplines of the game. Okay, if you are a coach who is first year that did not receive an email about getting started on that 2-year cert, on that big cert, please reach out to us because you were supposed to get that. Players, you should not have received anything yet, but you will in the next couple of days. Returning coaches, you'll receive something December 1st with all the information for you to get going on that. Win Reality. Okay, so this is our visual occlusion partner. If you've seen commercials for Win Reality, it is really cool. Okay, so Win Reality is essentially the virtual reality training for different pitch recognition, pitch tracking, timing. They have a bunting game on there now. There's a catching mode that you can be behind the plate and work receiving timing. A lot of different things that you can do with Win Reality. Okay, so we're going to go through some of the data benefits. You will get an email with some of this information as well, though it is on screen if you want to take a screenshot of it. But you'll get a follow-up email tomorrow with a lot of this info. Okay, so benefits, 23% winning percentage increase for teams utilizing this tool at the collegiate level. Okay, they saw a 7-time increase in skill acquisition in players who train with Win compared to those who didn't. And they saw an 8.8% improvement in plate discipline after training with the Win Reality. So the numbers don't lie. Okay, so you can see from some of these, there's a 6.8% increase in on base percentage. And you can see from that game performance ranking, the Win Series performance ranking continued to improve as players played more and more games in the training. Okay, so the goal is to increase your vision, improve your ability to see different pitches, to recognize pitch earlier out of pitcher's hand, and to increase your timing. Off-season is hard to see live pitching, but this gives you a way year-round to see as many live pitches as you want. Most of the time, players can complete roughly 2 to 4 rounds in about a 5-minute span, which is anywhere from 50 to 100 pitches in 5 minutes that you get to track. Now, I'm not a great BP pitcher anyway, but I can promise you that I cannot throw you 100 pitches in 5 minutes. So this is a great way to increase the amount of visual reps that you get of tracking pitches in the offseason. A few different ways that you can utilize this game. We have pitch recognition, situational hitting, batting practice, release point training, quick recognition, occlusion training, nitro zone training, 2-strike training. Okay, so there's a lot of different modes within the game that allow you to really personalize where you want to focus your time, all of which are allowing you to see ball out of pitcher's hand and track that. Okay, we have had the question, yes, they do have the baseball version. Yes, they do have the softball version. There are pitchers for both that range anywhere from the slowest of speeds to the highest of speeds that you would potentially be seeing for any age group. So how do we sign up and implement this? Okay, there's a registration link on the screen. Okay, you can use that. You can also just go to their website. If you just go to winreality.com, the key is to use this registration code. Now, in roughly 2 weeks, this code will no longer be viable, and they will give us a different code. I did not personally choose choice little user because we're not allowed to choose what our codes are for Win Reality. They just randomly spit them out every couple of weeks at us. Okay, so if you are able to register over the next couple of weeks, this will be your registration code. If you forget about this, or maybe you get an Oculus Quest for Christmas, for your birthday, for something coming up, that'd be neat. And then you need access to it. Okay, if the code is not working, just send an email to our baseballacademicsmidwest@gmail.com, and we will send you that new code if and when that's necessary. Okay, this will get your account set up so that you can train not only at home, but also at extra innings. We will have, starting at positionals, 2 Oculus Quest hooked up here that players can use at no cost. When you walk in and use that, we just ask that you be respectful if others are waiting, that you switch off rounds or turns if needed. And again, that you take care of the equipment so that we can use these Oculus Quest for a long time. All right. We will have bat attachments in here that you can use. And if you're going to decide to train with Win Reality at home and you need a bat attachment, you can go ahead and shoot us an email on that as well. I will double check on the pricing there, but they're around $30. Unfortunately, you cannot order them. They have to be ordered through the program, but we'll be able to place that order and you can pick it up directly at Extra Innings. Okay. Of all of the partners that we have, I would say Win Reality is probably the most fun. It's the most engaging and entertaining. I love always grinding the reflection, but you're probably going to have more fun taking hacks on a VR than you are writing in a notebook. So this is one that I would highly encourage our players to use as much as possible. Last couple pieces here is just schedule for our positional training over the next few weeks. This will be blasted out this week as well. It has been blasted out in previous emails and has been put on social media. We will add this to the website and blast it out one more time so that everybody understands these schedules. Okay, talking through this a little bit. On the BAM side, we will start in the morning with our 8 to 11 U's. Okay, we'll start with infield, we'll move directly into outfield, then catching. Okay, the catching includes all the way up to 14U. Okay, once we move from there, 12 to 14 outfield, 12 to 14 infield, and now we're in our upper age groups, 14 to 18 pitching, 14 to 18 base running, and then specifically high school infield, outfield, catching. Now, after these first 3 weeks, the schedule will change. Each age group will get 3 weeks of pitching and 3 weeks of base running. Every age group will get 6 weeks of infield, outfield, and catching. The pitching, especially on the baseball side, will be everything but physically pitching. Okay, some of you pitchers are probably excited to come in and throw, but realistically, with when positionals happen, some of our pitchers are shut down. Some of our pitchers are taking a month off to rest arms, and we're definitely not throwing off of mounds live. Okay, so the reason that we added the pitching training is specifically to go over pitcher fielder practice, okay, get PFPs in, and that's bunt coverages, that's bag coverages, that's backups, that's our pickoff plays. It's all of the things that you have to do as a pitcher to remain athletic and to field your position and do that at a high level outside of physically pitching. We will likely spend one of those weeks to dive a little bit farther into pitching approach and mentality. But for the most part, it's the fielding side of pitching. On the FAM side, you guys might get a few more live reps as far as pitching itself. You definitely will on our crossover weeks, but very similar focus, being able to be an athlete and field our position as a pitcher. Okay. The base running side is very focused on the FAM side of gaining speed and quickness, recognizing situations of when to be aggressive and not aggressive, and overall athleticism. On the baseball side, it is a lot of those same things, but also includes heavily base stealing, including all 3 leadoff types that we will utilize of modern, hybrid, and traditional, how to best implement those, what you're looking for, all of those pieces to maximize the pressure that you can create. Okay. We are excited to get going with these. Those will start next weekend, Saturday for our fast pitch and Sunday for our baseball. The last slide here before we move into our final session of the day is our supplemental training. Okay. Supplemental training means that this is stuff that you would have to pay for. Okay. But it is also stuff that would be very good for a lot of our players, depending on what you need. Okay. This is not required. You do not gain or lose playing time based on your attendance of these things. That said, they will help you improve and get better. And I would say, ask your coach first and foremost if they think any of these things would be a fit for you or something that would be beneficial for you. Okay, first one is our lessons and instruction and extra innings. We're moving into week 3 of block 2, each block being 8 weeks. There is one remaining block that will open up signups for in about 3 weeks. There are still some spots open in block 2. You would get that 20% off, and you would get that pricing that would be really adjusted to the weeks that you're able to attend, and you're not paying for 8 weeks. Okay. Number 2 is macronutrient guidance. I would not recommend this to players until about 13 or 14 U and up, and even at 13 and 14, it takes the right player. But basically, this is guidance of breaking down your total calories into how many carbs, proteins, and fats that you should be eating each day based on what you need in order to properly grow your body. For some of you, that's going to be gaining movable mass. For some, that might be losing excess weight. For some of you, that's just going to be what we call a recomp or essentially like recompositioning your body so that you have the most movable mass that's possible to increase velos, exit velos, all of those things. Okay. Number 3 is workout programming. A lot of our high school athletes are working out at their high schools. That's great. Maybe your high school doesn't have workout programming. Maybe you're in middle school and you want to get started, but you can't make it into the live strength or speed and agility sessions. Great opportunity for you to have a plan where you can feel good about it and know what you're doing. 4 is online daily mental training. Okay, there are 3 blocks of that. Everybody would start at block 1 who would sign up. Basically, that is literally 7 days a week with a morning video, morning writing, and then daily responses. Awesome opportunity if you feel like diving into your own mindset is something that you should be doing. Realistically, I would say players 12 and up can handle this. Anybody below that can, if a parent is willing to help them through it. But it is all through a Google Classroom and really self-driven with responses. So we don't want players signing up for that who would not utilize it or stay motivated through the 56 days. And then the last one is team camps and clinics. We are obviously about to be into our positional settings. That said, if any teams, old or new, feel like having a few extra hours of just your team in here specifically with different instructors or coaches in any discipline of the game, that is something that can be worked out as well. Okay, so all of these things are offered to all of our players, all of our families. I think that we have an incredible package of what's offered for everybody involved in the program. The key is this: we can give you the food, but you got to eat it, right? So what I mean by that is we can provide all of these resources and all of these great things that can help you get better, a place to train, different methods to train, different training sessions and ways to go about it, but we can't do it for you. So at the end of the day, our job is to provide the resources and lead you to that water, or give you that food. Your job is to eat, right? So now is your time. You know the resources. Reach out to coaches if you have questions over these things, but be ready to get to work and have a blast doing it all winter long. All right. So those are our resources. We're going to need about 5 minutes here to move computers out to the main space and get some balls out for our last session, which is our hitting session. The only thing, you do not need to send notes to your coach over our resources, but I want you to do so that you don't forget is over the next 5 minutes, I want you to text your coach if you have questions over any of the resources, or there's something that you want to sign up for and you just need more info about it. Text your coach those things right now so that they can follow up before you forget and it's out of sight, out of mind. Other than that, be ready to go at 2:30. We're going to mute this and move it into the other room. But we will start our last one at 2:30. That'll take about a half hour and we'll get you out of here right about 3 o'clock.